Hey everyone, I'm back with a little bit of a haul. I got my new stamps in from the stamp drop. Let's see, it's March, right? Yeah, it's March. So this is from the March stamp drop, and unfortunately my desk is a mess, as well as the room that I'm in. We'll talk more about that after this though. So let me show you the stamps that I purchased. I did not purchase all of them that were in the drop. I just knew I wouldn't be using them, so I didn't purchase them. There are two. One is a sentiment set, and I think it's a 6x8, and the other one is a set of 4 images that I think are Easter related, and they're also religious, and I just don't really create with that kind of stuff. So here are the stamps that I purchased. This is the recipe for Easter eggs. Oh, coloring Easter eggs. I don't know what they're named, but you get the idea. And I do have these in the originals, not the eggs, but the 2 top and bottom stamps. I do have the original wood mount, and I think they're very similar in size, honestly, to what you see here on the photopolymer version. So there's that one. The next one, this is one she never had this in wood, so I don't think. So I think this is a new one altogether, this recipe for creamy herbed egg salad. So it'll be fun to try out. And then this one is the carrot cake. I have this one in the wood as well. And again, I think they're very similar in size. And I also have this little bunny in the wood and this little quilt block, as well as the carrot. The carrot was sitting here on my desk. Here's the carrot. So I believe they're about the same size. Let's see. Yeah. So that's the original wood carrot stamp. And then there you've got these other individuals right here, and then a little cluster here. So these look to be about the same size as the original wood stamps that were out there. But I do have all 3 of these larger ones here, as well as this carrot there. These I think were inside of a block, like inside of a square or a rectangle. So I think those are a little bit smaller. I don't have that one out now, but let's see. Okay, this one for sure is bigger than the original, because I do have the original of this little guy. Not little, deviled eggs. This one is pretty good size. And if you look at the little card that I'm holding behind the stamp is an A2 card front. So that is A2 in size. So you can see how well it would fit on the front of a card. You would have some room around it to play around with. So that's the deviled eggs. I know that one is bigger than the original. And then the last stamp that I got is the 6x8, and I didn't have these before either. I think these are all new images. So I did purchase this. This, you can see the stack of animals. It looks like it's a sheep. I don't know. I know there's a chicken up there. What's the one in the middle? You guys can probably tell me. They're standing on an egg. Cute. Okay, so those are the stamps I got from Adornit, from the stamp drop. And then I purchased one more thing, which is, actually it was these 2 things together. This stamp from eBay, it's a gingerbread stamp. And it's called Marion Sweet. What year is this? Does it have a year? Doesn't list the year. So I don't know when this came out, but I picked it up from eBay. So that's pretty cute. And it also came with this stencil, which is a gingerbread that you can stencil in on top of a sheet pan. You got all the parts of a sheet pan there. So that is my haul, and just to give you an idea of what a big mess I have. Now, my room is normally a mess. It's my craft room and my office that's in the house. And I know I don't need to explain to anyone why I craft in the house when I have a shed. Okay? I don't need to explain the reason why to anybody, but I'm going to. because I know there's, for some reason, people need to comment in public about why I craft inside or where I craft. But this is the mess I've been dealing with. All my stuff up here is still here. It's just I can get to this now. What I've done is I took a futon that used to be down there out of this room, because this was my this is my office still, and I know the lights aren't on. So there was a futon down on that end. We took it out and put it in another room in the house. I used to have to do weekend software releases, so I would have to stay up very late into the night, early mornings, a lot of times on the weekends. And so I would just come lay on the futon until it was time for me to get up and do the thing that I do. So because we don't do those anymore, at least for my work that I'm doing now, we could take that out. And I pushed all of these cabinets that I had purchased secondhand. They're IKEA kitchen cabinets that were down here, and I pushed them all down to that end. So that created this huge open space here. And all of this is paper and ribbon in these recollection containers. And there's a whole bunch of stamps, wood stamps back there. These are stamps as well. Some are cling, some are wood. And I just have to go through all these stacks of stamps and dies. And this has all been sitting out for a very long time. I just need to go through it all so that it's not blocking the cabinet doors and my tops are clear. So anyway, this is the room I normally craft in right now. You guys know that I had built a studio out in my backyard. There's a whole playlist on my channel about it. It's for me. When I decide that I need another space to go craft in, and it also holds a lot of supplies that I have. But I also did it early because when I decide I'm going to retire, I don't want to be paying for anything. So it's a place for me to go without having to leave the house, get out of my pajamas if I don't want to change, and go to a different place without having to get in the car. So I have that separate space. It is mine. It's you know, going to be paid for by the time I retire. And I'm lucky to have two spaces, one that's in my house and one that's in my yard. Whether I craft in one or the other isn't really, the point, for anybody. If you want a separate space and you can afford a separate space, do it. Whatever you're comfortable with. But for me right now, I'm comfortable with being in the house. It doesn't mean I don't use it. It just means right now it's not in use for where I craft. Sometimes I go out there and actually do stuff, but I don't say anything about it. And I think it's funny that there are people who feel like they can publicly comment about how I or where I craft and have that be something that should be talked about. It shouldn't be. I personally feel whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. And if you feel comfortable in a separate building, crafting your heart away, it's really nobody else's business. I thought I'd explain it because I think it's funny that somebody mentioned it publicly, or they mentioned it in a forum that I wasn't in, but I heard about it and saw it. So I thought I would go ahead and address it here because it's what I'm doing right now, where I have this huge mess in here. See, I've got it all stacked up. I have two desks. Actually, one is right behind. They're butted up together, so it creates one big workspace. But I also have that space over there where I can work once all that is cleared up. And this is a pretty big room. As you guys know, this was my previous craft room before I had my studio built. And I will be using the studio, obviously, whenever I feel like it. But for right now, this is what suits me. And whether I use it or not, because I do have it, like I said, it's one of those things that is personal. It doesn't matter what anybody says, and I'm explaining it because I think it's kind of funny that other people would mention it. We don't have a big house because, this is a ranch style house, so we had the land because that is part of it. But, having a separate place built for me is something that my husband kind of urged me to do because he has his own shop too, which is like twice the size of mine. But he has his own space as well that is separate from the house. It's actually right behind that door. So, you know, if you guys are looking at a she shed or a separate space for you, you know, some people rent studios. That's another thing. That's an option that you have to get out and go drive to. That's another option too. But a separate building for your craft studio is a nice thing to have if you can afford it. Like I said, I did it because I could afford it at the time, and I'll be done paying for it by the time I retire. And I expect that it's a place that I want to go to not be in the house, to feel like I'm going somewhere different from where I'm at, and not have to change. I'll still have all the comforts of home, but I'll be in a separate space. So that's my reasoning for it. And like I said, if that's something that you're interested in, I do have a playlist on my channel if you would like to see it. The current state of it right now is it needs a cleanup. And I won't be showing that until, I don't know when that'll happen. But this place, which is very messy right now, I'm not afraid to show you that, but obviously I'm still working on. I probably have another weekend of cleaning up. It took me 3 days to get to this point because I'm obviously organizing stuff to where I want it. And then all of this stuff has been sitting out, plus stuff on the floor that's been sitting out for a long time. I just hadn't put it away. And I'm going to probably, I don't know if I'll be doing any destashes. I might just donate it somewhere because I don't want to have to go through having to send stuff out and mailing and such. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the haul. Talk to you later. Bye.